Hey everyone, welcome back to the IHC Craft Room. Today is live number 3 of the Sweet Summer series, and we're going to be making a lemon-themed welcome wreath for your front door. I'm super excited. When I had this idea, I realized that I didn't have a sign that was going to work for the Grapevine Wreath. So I went looking for one, and surprise, I couldn't find one that worked for what I had in mind. So we're going to make it ourselves. That's the plan. I have yet to do this before. I've never made a sign out of foam board for a wreath, but we're going to do it together. We're going to do it step by step, and we're going to hope that it works out really well. Now, everything we're using today is, for the most part, from the dollar store, with some exceptions. And most of the things that are exceptions are just because, and you could probably get them at the dollar store anyway. One of the exceptions is this lemon-themed ribbon. I wasn't able to find that at the dollar store. I had to get it at Michael's. But remember, what do we always say about when we shop at Michael's Canada? Yeah, we use a coupon. So 30% off is bueno. I was very happy with that. This happens to be, I think this is also from Michael's that I got on sale. All of these things that I have from Michael's are on sale or discounted. I'm saying this because wreath making can get pricey, and I do a lot of it. So I often reuse things. I buy things from the dollar store as much as possible, and I use coupons. So here's an example of reusing something. I've used this wreath frame before, and I took it apart, but you can see I have some glue and greenery stuck in here that I can't get out. So I'm going to use this, and I'm either going to flip it on its back so you can't see it, or I'm just going to actually cover it with the bow that I have in mind today. So I just wanted to bring all of this forward because I've never seen a video where a wreath maker talks about reusing stuff. Like, I think a lot of times people are maybe making wreaths for, to sell or to give away. But if you're making them just for the pleasure of making them for your own home, and you want to reuse some things the way I do, because I make so many wreaths, I just can't afford to keep buying wreath forms and stuff. You know what I mean? So I got this wreath form, this grapevine one, again, from where? Michael's. So a lot of this is from Michael's. You'll never find these at the Dollar Tree or at Dollarama. At least I never have in all these years. So this is one of those things you're going to have to specifically get at a craft store like Joann's or Michael's or whatever. In whichever country you're tuning in from, your local craft store may have something like this. I think this was like $8, maybe 10. And again, coupon, don't forget. All right. Now, what the plan is we're going to make ourselves a lemon slice. It's going to be like a half. So half of a circle, basically. And we're going to paint it yellow and white and make it like a lemon slice. It's going to go right here. I'm not sure if it's going to go evenly or if it's going to go at an angle. And then we're going to make ourselves a big, beautiful bow with these wired ribbons with the lemon theme. And we're going to put that big bow probably in the corner. And then we're going to arrange some like daisies that have yellow and white. And we'll do a little bit of that, maybe a little bit of greenery. So that's the plan. And now when we make the lemon slice, we're going to let it dry really well. And then we're going to go ahead and transfer this welcome onto it. And I'm going to paint it on. So because there's a lot of painting happening, we're going to do that part first. So we're going to work on our sign first, and then we'll put all of this stuff together. We'll make our bow. It's going to be a blast. Okay, so I'm going to get this out of the way, and we are going to start by making our lemon slice. I'll put you away too. So the way I started this off, oh, by the way, I made a free downloadable. It's in the description of this video. So please go ahead and download this if you want to make this craft at home. I made it 2 versions. This is a little bit on the smaller side and this is bigger. And I don't normally do this in a downloadable. I normally just make the one size and you can like scale it up or down, which you can still do with both of these. But there's only so far wide you can make something on a regular sheet of paper. So this gives you the opportunity to make it the full length of the paper as opposed to just the width, in case you have a bigger grapevine wreath than mine. Mine is a 14-inch, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think so. A 14-inch grapevine wreath. So we're going to do a chalk transfer method for this onto our sign once we've painted it. But we're going to use probably a pencil instead of chalk because I'm going to be doing this on foam board. So here's my foam board. also from the dollar store. And we're also going to use this file folder because it's the best way I could think of to make the slice without destroying my foam board, because I only have so much power in my hands to cut through the foam board, so I don't want to make mistakes on it. And if I am careful with it, I won't have to paint any white. So let me tell you what I've done. I basically made myself a little template using a file folder. So again, these are materials you can get at your dollar store. The foam board, this file folder, all of these things I got from my dollar store, as well as my compass, which is what we're going to be using to make this half circle. So basically all I did was try to make a half circle that was as close to the edge of this as possible. I found my middle point. I expanded this as much as possible, and then I drew myself the half circle, and then I cut it out. Okay? So that's step number one. I'm not doing that again because it was a pain in the butt in the first place, but that's the way I did this. So I have this nice big, and now let's see. Let me move the flowers. Let me show you. It's going to be either right down the middle like this when we'll put our bow and we'll put some flowers, or we'll put it on like an angle, like a jaunty chapeau, but same thing, flowers and bow. So we'll see once we've made it, but this is why this size was so important. So the file folder was the chef's kiss size because I still want to see a bit of the grapevine around it, but not so much. I didn't want it to be a little tiny slice. So this is a good template we're going to use. And then the other thing I did was I got myself like an image of a lemon slice. And then I made myself these little like pieces that we're going to do like that. So I'm going to then I'll flip this like that. And this guy will go like this. And then it's going to give us a whole slice, like the membrane. And so all of these things we're going to paint yellow. And then the outside's going to stay white because we're using the foam board. So this is the way my brain came up with doing this. I've never done this before. I'm not even sure if it's going to work, but we're going to try it together. So it's going to be a blast. Okay, so file folder, thank you. Appreciate you. And I'm going to keep these off to the side. We're going to get the foam board out here. I actually need to move a few things around because there's a lot happening on my tabletop and I need the room to spread out. All right, so we've got foam board. Now I can definitely fit a bazillion of these here, but I only think I'm going to make 2, possibly 3. Because I want to stack them together. I'd like it to be a bit more thick. I can't show you how thick this is without it hitting my camera. But once I cut this, I'll show you how it is. I'll be able to turn a small piece sideways to show you. So I'm going to be using a pencil to trace onto this foam board. I'm going to go down as low as I can. The ends are janky because I've used this for other projects and I'm not good at cutting foam board. Which is one of the reasons why we're going to also be using a little bit of masking tape. Okay, that'll be 1. I don't know if I want to do 3. That's going to be cutting it really close though. How about that room? Mary. We'll start with 2. And if it feels like it's not substantial enough, then I'll trace out a 3rd one. And we're going to glue them together. I actually found some like Elmer's glue, like paste, like for when you were kids in kindergarten. I had a bunch and I didn't realize I had it. So I opened a cabinet and I was like, oh my God, I have glue. This is great. Okay, I'm going to put these aside for now. Let's go ahead and try cutting these out. I actually was looking online for, you know what? I need a different pair of scissors. I have like these kitchen shears that are hopefully a little bit more substantial and will give me a little more bite to my cutting. Oh yeah, much better. I honestly don't remember what I was saying. But what I will say is I struggle with cutting things like this because my hands are weak because I have carpal tunnel syndrome. Self-diagnosed in case anybody was wondering. But with the way my hands let go of things spontaneously, yeah, I think I'm pretty safe to say that's what's going on. So because of that, I always try to minimize how much I'm asking out of my hand, especially my dominant hand. So I was looking to see if I could find a tool that you can buy online to help you cut through foam board. I know it exists. It kind of like burns through it. Because I saw somebody on TikTok making these big foam board like Christmas characters for their lawn, which was so cool. Okay, I can't go any further than that right now. So let's start with you, see what we do. So anyway, I tried to look them up and see if I wanted to try to buy a tool like that. I thought it might be really useful for me because I do use foam board from time to time. But all the ones that I saw, I read like had really mixed reviews, and I was like, do I really want to invest that kind of money right now if I don't know if I'm going to like it? So I decided to chicken out, and now I'm just going to pay. I'm going to pay in hand suffrage. That's what's going to happen. Okay, so we're going to go a little further. Yeah, it's not easy because there's no give, right? Ugh. Let's try going this way and see if we can meet in the middle. So since this foam board is white, I'm hoping I can get away with just painting the yellow on. Hey, Chihuahua. Maybe I should have bought that tool. Mary from the past did me dirty. She's like, what's a little hand pain? Yeah, well, now I'm feeling it. Again, sometimes I do like making an investment in a tool that I think I'm going to use, So I'm willing to spend a certain amount of money. There's only so much, really. But, I don't think it would have been more than, $30, $40. Unless you want to get some kind of high-powered one, which if I was working with foam board every single day, I would totally invest that money. It'd be worth it. This curve is, it's a vibe. All right. I'm just little by little taking it apart. Now, you could use an X-Acto knife for this as well. I've tried that before, and I fare much worse. I end up being really, really bad on the ends. This isn't fantastic, but it's not terrible. Okay, that's good. We got one. I think two should be enough. Oh, I said I was going to show you. So that's how thin the foam board is. So I think two of these should be substantial enough. It's got some strength to it, which is why the file folder wasn't going to work, because it didn't have any stiffness to it. It wouldn't be able to hold itself properly on the wreath. How funny that as I'm cutting this, my left hand hurts more than my right, my guiding hand. That's why I keep shaking that one out, not my cutting hand. The end is near, guys. Hi there, Tony. Welcome. We're making a lemon wreath today. I've never made a lemon themed wreath before. I was really excited about it. I'm actually kind of disappointed that I wasn't able to find any faux lemons at the dollar store. I don't remember if I looked for them at Michael's or on Amazon, but I was like, whatever, we'll do without. But sometimes you can get lucky and find at least citrus fruits, those plastic ones at the dollar store. I had seen them, I don't know, maybe last year. And I remember thinking at the time, well, maybe I should pick some of these up in case I want to do something in the future. But I try not to buy things just in case. I try to go to the craft store with purpose and Also, same with the dollar store, because who has money for not purpose? Not me. All right. We got. Not bad. I mean, it looks like I had a couple of drinks, but it's fine. Still under the legal limit, it appears. So good. Okay, I'm just taking these little extra pieces of paper off. And let's get all this off of here. All of this. All right. So I'm going to put them together. That's good. That's nice and substantial. So I'm going to do that with a little bit of glue. This isn't like the end of the world. It doesn't have, look at this. I found my glue. I was so proud of myself. I was like, oh my God, this is where you've been hiding all this time? The only glue I could ever find was my hot glue, which is fine, but there's certain things that hot glue is just not going to work for. And this would be one of those things because the hot glue would melt the foam board quite a lot. It doesn't mean I'm not going to use hot glue on this, because I will for, let's see, is there a specific, I guess it doesn't matter. I'll decide as I go. All right, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue ski. I haven't used this in probably years, so if it even comes out, I'll be surprised. Oh. All right, well, you're still liquidy. Hasn't been that long. That's open. Why won't you come out? You're going to play with me like that? Do you think there's like something in the cap? There's probably nothing in the cap, and I'm doing this for no reason. There's just a little white piece in there. Open. I am opening it. This is embarrassing. For real, I can't, like, it's not happening. All right, well, screw you and your mom. Okay, that was a little aggressive. Apologies. I have another one. Let's hope this one works. I think just that lip wasn't open enough. Yeah. God, that was demoralizing. Okay, a little bit of glue. Hopefully it won't come out the sides. I'd like for it to be as even as possible. So we're going to give this a couple seconds to pretend to bond. And then we're going to use this masking tape as a trim all the way around it. Because I thought, you know what? Masking tape, I can paint. So I honestly don't think I have used masking tape in a hot minute. I really can't remember. Painter's tape, yeah, all the time. Oh boy. The struggle's real today. That wasn't that bad. I was just thinking sometimes it's so hard to open something, you end up breaking it trying to open it. I can't break masking tape, but you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I got lucky and found this really, really thin one from the dollar store. So this should actually, I shouldn't even have to flip it over, like fold it over to hide it. Like a bear. I just opened that like a bear. Okay. So let's see. That's not bad at all. So I'm going to do like, okay, don't. I think I'm going to like go on the very, very bottom, just a tiny bit, just a little overlap. Like that. I'll fold it over. Nice and tight. And smooth. And then one final tuck over. So even if you don't have this really skinny, what do you call it? Masking tape. Probably one of the symptoms I hate most about perimenopause is this whole, I can't remember the word for something, Santa Maria, the way it irks me, you have no idea. Today I had to Google the word velvet because I couldn't remember what the word was. You should have heard the way I described it even. I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm not. Okay, so I'm going to trim you because I don't want to bother folding it over. It's going to make this really bulky. And now we're going to try to do the same thing all the way around, even on the curve. So I think I might do this in pieces and overlap a bit. Oh, you're going to get on my nerves if you're going to keep getting stuck to my fingers. No me gusta. Okay. That worked out really well. Really nice. Okay, so then let's keep going. I think I can do it just in pieces. As long as you don't roll up on me. How am I going to do this? I want to do a little bit, just a little overlap. Yeah, I can't do this like that. That's not going to work. I'm going to have to do this in little pieces. Cut you. Oh, I didn't know I had a piece stuck to that. Yeah, I'm going to be doing probably little pieces all the way around for this. So that we get a nice flat edge. And the other reason I wanted to use masking tape is because I feel like it could be easily painted. So if I want to trim this out in yellow, which I probably will, because again, this is a lemon slice. So there's the whole lemon rind. Beautiful. Okay, what are we going to do? Like half of this? This is bothering me, these little pieces that are sticking up. I hope you guys enjoy watching all of the little, I don't know what, OCDs, autism things. I don't know what they are, but all these little weird things that we have as humans when you're just like, I can't watch that anymore. I have to clean my scissors. You get to enjoy watching me do that. Because there's really certain things that I'm like, nope, I can't do that right now. It is gross. All right, well, see, yeah, we're not going to be using pieces any bigger than that, it looks like. Hey, by the way, does it have to be super smooth and amazing? No, it doesn't. So by all means, if this isn't going to hurt your soul the way it would hurt mine, if this is all bumpy, then just make sure that they stick together and rock and roll, okay? But if I don't do this the right way, when I go to sleep tonight, I'm going to think about it. Which is so effing true. You don't even know. Okay, so I think right here is where you fell off. Yeah, unfortunately, that is the perfect amount, this little teeny tiny bit. I'll bet you there's a much better way to do this. And if you know what it is, I'd love to hear about it, either in the chat or if you're watching this in a replay. If you have a better way to have made this, would love to hear it. I'm always open to hearing new, something faster, something easier, something less expensive, whatever it is, holla at my girl, okay? Holla at your girl. That's me. That's me. Yes, it is. You know, making this wreath today, I obviously had this planned ahead of time. I have to live my life with schedules when it comes to YouTube. And I'm glad that I'm doing this on a bit of a gloomy day. because it kind of automatically injects a little bit of sunshine in when you're working with a bright yellow palette, you know? Because we are currently, today is July 18th, 2026, and North America is dealing with some pretty rampant wildfires in Canada, which is impacting both our country and the US. So air quality has been, for the last few days, and I'm sure it's been terrifying for anybody who's in an area where there's wildfires. So if you are, we're thinking about you. And if you're not, and you're just dealing with the smog in the air, take care of yourself, stay inside, do all the things, listen to the people. I don't know all the things. I can tell you about lemon signs. But air quality, maybe go to, like, I don't know, people who are in charge of the weather. The only people on the planet who are allowed to make like numerous mistakes in their job and not lose their job. Funny. Alrighty. We are coming up on the end. This turned out really, really good. I'm happy with that. It's nice and smooth. It's a good size. So the next step is going to be, we're going to start drawing in, I don't know what those are called, the flesh cells of the lemon. So we'll draw that in and then we'll start painting it. So this sign is going to be what takes the most effort and time for this project, which is why we're doing it first, because there's going to be some stages where we need paint to dry and etc. And then we're going to make a really simple, large statement bow. We're going to add some pretty sunflowers that also are really just cheerful and bright. Another welcome thing on a gloomy day. All right, guys, we did it. I don't like the way you are. I don't like. Okay. Beautiful. We are rocking and rolling. So we've got the base of our lemon slice done. Now, if you want, we could paint this white with chalk paint so that there's just a layer of paint all the way around. I don't think it's necessary. That's why I chose white particle board instead of cardboard, or this isn't particle board, foam board instead of cardboard, or black particle board, because I have that as well. Again, I said particle board when I didn't want to. All right. So these are the little cells I was talking about. So what I have in mind is, see, I wrote flat edge on this one so that I would remember. So what I'm thinking is we want like a trim on the edge that's probably about 1/4 inch that's going to be yellow. So that'll be our exterior rind. Then we're going to leave like a line of white. Okay. And we'll have these that will be filled in as yellow and a little gap between each one. So it continues that white membrane. Okay. So with that in mind, I think we should draw these in first so that I don't accidentally paint white over this or yellow over the spot where I wanted to put white. I think I need to try to find the middle. Let's see if we can. How long are you? 11.5? That's about right. Just about 11.5. So that means we need to be at about what? 5.5? 5 3/4 maybe. That's probably around the center. Right there. So I want like a little semicircle of white to stay. I'm thinking this is good. I don't want a lot of white on the bottom, but I do want a little. So I think that's good. Let's try it. I'm going to draw this in really, really lightly with a pencil. I don't want to... Where did I put my pencil? There you are. Hi. Why are you hiding? This is your time to shine. Okay. Just a little bit on the bottom. Maybe just like that masking tape. Wow, look at how long it took me to say masking tape. That had to have been 7 hours that I was trying to find that word. 7 hours. So I'm trying to be light-handed because pencil is probably going to show through my yellow paint, but not so light-handed that I don't see my lines. Oh, I moved it, so. Okay, that's good. I know you probably can't see that, and I apologize, but I needed to stay light so that we are... Okay, so I'm going to flip this over so that they're same. I think that's a good way to do it. We'll do each side. So how big? About a finger. Okay, so maybe right there's fine. How about here? Just a little tiny bit. All right. Now, hey, see this thing? It is called rouleur. By all means, like measure, make it perfect, make sure that they're even, using proper measurements. I like to use the finger measurement. I enjoy eyeballing a lot of my stuff because I feel like it makes it fun, because I'm always kind of challenging myself to make things symmetrical and centered and stuff. But I also like just playing the game to see if I got it right. See, like these guys are not really pointing at each other. So it should have been more, maybe paint down a little bit more. Would that make these even? I think so. Okay, so hold on. What if I scoot you and then just point this down a little bit more so the noses are about like that? Yeah. Okay, wait. So first thing I'm going to do is erase. But, and then we'll... Okay, that was much darker than it needed to be. But I wanted it to be pointing down more. Okay, now we're good. So that means you're going to go like this a little. And I'm going to erase this. Okay. How does that look? I think we're good. So let's try you now. It's going to be like... Yeah, so I'm going to make this trim of yellow really, really thin, I think. Which is good because these are going to be yellow. So we don't want like... We want to see those white lines, those membrane lines in the middle. So I'm going to do it like this. Do I want to point it more this way? Because I'm trying to get a half circle from the parts of the slices that are not involved. So I'm trying to be conscious of it. I'm thinking like here. Okay, let's try it. We'll see how it goes. Because with a light hand, I managed to be able to erase my lines pretty well. I'm not seeing any of them. Although foam board is very easily scored. So there's all kinds of like lines all over this thing. But I don't care. That looks good. I wish you were a little bit darker up here. Yeah. Okay, and now this one. What do you think? I feel like this gap and this gap is too far apart. So it's almost like I need to shift this a tiny bit. And then leave the bigger gap in the middle. Yeah, that makes sense, right? So if I go like this, is that the way I had it? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to just shift this like that much. keep my bottom where it is. Okay, I like that. I'm going to have to erase after so that I don't confuse myself. Oh. Okay. So now we're going to erase this. So I don't know about you, but I'm thoroughly enjoying this. This is a fun project. I didn't think I'd enjoy this much, but I'm actually really enjoying it because my plan is going fairly well, and that's always pleasant. Yeah. Okay, so you gotta go. You gotta go. All right. Killing it. Killing it, killing it, killing it. Now, are these mirrors? No, this is that, right? So I need to flip it like this. That makes that really big in the middle. I think I liked it better when it wasn't flipped. Let's see. I feel like it's pretty much the same shit. What do you think? I think it doesn't matter, basically. This is one of those things where I can waste a lot of my own time getting stuck on something that's really not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and try tracing this on. All right, we did it. Can you see that? I guess it's kind of hard to see. Don't worry, we're going to paint it now. So I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, it could probably be a little bit better, but I'm happy with it. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to painting this lemon slice in because I need this to start drying. So we're going to start with the outer So unnecessary. Bad attitudes are not welcome here, okay? So I think what we're going to do, I'm using my liner brush today. I have fallen in love with this brush. I was so intimidated by it, and now I use it all the time, which is a perfect reason why I often talk about trying to get past the things that intimidate you, because you end up mastering it and feeling like a fool for not having it. I'm thinking I'm probably going to try to do that whole trim all the way around. Wait. Maybe I should do that last. Hold on. How's my hand going to be? I'll at least do half. We'll at least do the first half. I'm thinking about where I'm going to rest my hand. I don't think I need the liner brush for this part. I need a bit of a thicker brush. Something like this. Have a little bit of a damp cloth waiting on the sidelines, a little cup of water. These are all things I always use when I'm dot painting or doing anything with paint, really. This is the perfect size paintbrush because it gives me the exact width that I was kind of looking for. Now, of course, you didn't have to do the masking tape on the edges. You can see it, especially when you do a bad job wrapping it like I did. Actually, I just realized I probably drew this on the back side of that. That's silly of me. It doesn't matter. I don't mind if you can see what's behind the curtain. It's nice sometimes to be able to figure out some of the steps that someone took to make something. I really like this idea as well because it's really customizable, right? Like you could do this for an orange slice. You could do it for a lime as well. That would work for both of those. I might just do that in the future because this actually worked out really well. So that's it for the rind. We're not doing anything across the bottom. This is going to stay white. I actually don't feel... I'm going to go a little bit on the bottom, on the edge here. Just because I'm that extra. Okay, so let's go ahead and start now doing these inner membranes. I guess they're membranes. Inside and the front. Okay. We're going to start with you. I think I'm going to need to put more paint in there. So something I've been trying to do a lot of lately is practice my straight lines because I pretty much suck at them. Never been good at painting a straight line. I get intimidated by it and it all goes awry. So I kind of challenged myself recently to get over it. Get the F over it. And how do you get better at something? Well, you know, because you hate it as much as I do. You got to practice. You got to keep doing it. You got to push past the uncomfortable stage. And I have to say my lines have improved on another level compared to previous projects where I was drawing lines. I did a flower pot for my Mother's Day series, which was a super fun project. I'm totally going to do that again. But if you could see the lines that I drew on that pot, wow. They're no bueno. I think the number one thing I learned about drawing or painting a straight line, well, there's a couple of things. One is try not to talk so much, Mary, because when you talk, you shake your hand and wiggly lines. But, okay, hold on. Right. So then the number one thing I learned, other than not talking when you're doing it, is a lot of times it's just about dragging your pinky to help you keep the weight of your hand off of your paintbrush, if that makes sense. If you're resting too much weight on your hand on your paintbrush, then you're going to logically push a little too much. So if you can rest most of your weight on your pinky and slide your pinky around, it really helps you stay light on the paintbrush. So that's definitely the number one thing I learned in practicing so much. Oh, I got some on my finger. I'm okay with this, but I'm going to give it one more pass. And the other thing that I learned that really, really helped, believe it or not, is to feel confident while you're doing it. You gotta paint this line like it ain't no thing but a chicken wing. You know what I mean? Like you've done it so many times, you're so over it. Like I'm so good at it. Everybody watch me. Like that kind of ego is what you need to shoot for to get that straight line. That's what I'm basically doing as I'm doing it. I'm going, watch me whip, watch me nay nay. You know what I'm saying? Everybody watch. Woo! Yes. Look at how straight that is. Yes, queen. I've also been trying to practice not only drawing them straight, but how to keep them from thickening up. So what I mean by that is, first of all, I'm using this liner brush. which I highly recommend. They're not expensive. You can get a full set at any craft shop. I think Amazon for sure will sell these. Hobby shops sell things like this. Totally worth the money, and it's not a lot. They are super duper useful, and they give you a really thin line. So that's for sure number one, but it's also just a matter of making sure you're always staying on top of your previous line while you're thickening up your line a little bit. You don't want to make it larger than the rest of your outline, because then you have to go back and, well, this one we're filling in, so it doesn't matter. But if you were using this as just an outline, for example, I really got to pay attention to where I'm putting my hands. See, pinky in the rind. That sounded like Pinky in the Brain. No, it really didn't. My brain just makes stupid connections sometimes. Okay, I'm trying to really just cover my pencil marks now because I don't want you to be able to see them. All right. We are rocking and rolling. Yeah, so like I was saying, I've been trying to practice my straight lines. So how do you practice straight lines? Well, if you have more patience than I do, you might be doing that on a practice paper or something where you can just do them one after the other and keep practicing until you get the hang of it. That's definitely a really great way to practice and build your skill. However, I don't have, what's the word I want? It's not that I don't have the patience. I have plenty of patience for things I want to do. I just don't want to do that. I find it boring. I don't want to practice on a practice paper. I want to practice on something I'm making. So that means sometimes the things that I make come out like a toddler made them because I'm still trying to master that skill. But like the flower pot I mentioned earlier. But that's okay. Look how much better I am now. And that's because I have intentionally been putting a lot of like these straight lines or the need for this steady hand in my projects recently. I just picked up something with the paintbrush. I keep getting paint on my hands. So we're just going to accept that that's what's going to happen and just be aware. Let me clean up my paintbrush a little bit. I got something on it. Okay. Guys, we are rocking and rolling. So now you'll recall that the plan was, if you're just joining us, we're making this lemon slice to put on our grapevine wreath. Now, my intention is to write the word welcome over top of this once it dries with a script. So if you're interested in doing the same, I made a downloadable and it's in the description below. So by all means, enjoy that from me to you so you can make the same sign. But okay, that's good. But we're going to wait for it to dry. And then I'm going to decide if I want to put the welcome on it or not. We're going to see. We might just like the lemon slice as it is. So we shall see what the future brings. We're on the last quadrant. Watch where you're putting your fingers, lady. I can't really see that line very well. I should have gone back to trace it again. I kind of meant to, and I just forgot. Oh, that was a crappy line. Let's see if we can fix it. So, do you need to be this precise outlining this? No, of course not. We're going to fill it in anyway. But again, this is a good opportunity for me to practice my lines. And I'm very pleased with that. All right, it's time to fill in. So let's fill in our, we're going to turn this into a lemon. Into un lemon. All right, we're going to start on this side. Okay. I'm so glad I was able, that I thought to do this on the foam board, on the white foam board, because originally I was like, oh, maybe I'll use a file folder, or maybe I'll cut out a piece of like cardboard. But then to do that, I would have then needed to really coat it in like white chalk paint so that when I painted on my yellow, you'd see that it was yellow and it wouldn't look like either mustard or leaning into that brown itself. I'm thinking we might do one more coat. I'll let you dry and we'll come back. It's coming out really smooth. I like that a lot. Trying to avoid this little peak of paint on the edge. Sometimes I get like this little trim, more so than just the trim I painted. It's like a pileup of paint on the edge. I try to smooth it out just because if not, it takes longer for it to dry. I don't particularly care how it looks because I like the texture of it. I don't mind having the curve there, like on the edges. I enjoy texture. I need some more paint in here. I'm going to leave that alone. We'll come back and give it another coat once we're done all these guys. All right. This is very satisfying to paint. Because you need to be a little bit precise so that you're obviously not going out of the lines, but otherwise, it's just a fun little glide. I think you're probably dry by now. Yeah. I mean, not completely, but that's the reason why I'm kind of like unsure if we're going to actually get to the point of transferring the word welcome onto here. I might need to do it after the live stream if this doesn't dry enough. We're going to see. I think it probably will dry enough though. I went over the line a little bit and you can see the pencil mark and I don't like that. So I'm going to have to come back over here and make sure you get another coat. We did it. That is turning into a lemon slice. Woo! I'm very pleased. I was really nervous if this was going to work out. I've never done this before. So I actually like had to sit down and plan it out. I'm like, what am I going to use? How am I going to do this? What kind of glue? Like, all it was like a whole thing. So I'm really pleased that it worked out. But it goes to show you how each component can take its own amount of time, right? Usually signs are things that I've either made ahead of time because it's maybe something I've dot painted, or yeah, usually it's something I've dot painted if I make my own sign. But if not, I try to leverage decorative signs from dollar stores. They have some really, really cute ones now. But I couldn't find anything that I wanted. Like what I had in mind just wasn't in, like it wasn't available this summer, at least not when I went looking. So I was like, well, let me try to make it. What's the worst that'll happen? It'll come out dumb. I'll laugh. I love making things that look stupid. I laugh at them. My husband will be like, how did it turn out? And I'm like, it's pretty crappy, actually. He's like, really? I bet you it looks nice. I'm like, no, I hate it. But I don't care. I still had fun making it, so it's fine. And most of the time when I make something that doesn't turn out good, or, you know, maybe I could have done a better job on it or something, I usually can walk away with some takeaways, you know, like something that I can change for the next time I try to do something like that. And it, if nothing else, it's a learning experience, which sounds boring, but is actually a good time when you enjoy what you're doing. All right, so we are going to finish this one, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and do layer 2 on you. I mean, only where there's a little peak, like if I didn't smooth out the paint enough, can you see that it's a little bit wet? But I think it's dry enough to do coat number 2. I want to just fill in that yellow a little bit more. I'm not going to bother with the trim. I feel like the trim, like the rind, is fine. You can see it really well. I just don't want this to be patchy. Patchy. I got to be careful on the edges because it's easy to get cocky and think, oh, this will be done in no time. And then all of a sudden you've messed up your line. Smooth out that paint so it'll dry better. Okay. Beautiful. Oh, I'm very pleased with that. I mean, we could have had a little bit more space between there, but I'm okay with it. I think it looks good. You know what it is, right? You know that it's a lemon slice. That's the whole point. So perfection's not the goal here. Perfection's never the goal here. None at the IHC craft room, because you're never going to get there, so why bother? I say just have a good time and make something pretty is usually my slogan. It's usually the way I like to roll. Something else I actually really like about this kind of thing is, oh, I made a mistake. Hold on. Had a little spaz there, and it made me make a curve on the edge. So I have to repair. All right. What was I saying? I totally lost my train of thought because I made that mistake. Beautiful. I'm happy with that. You look a little blotchy. Okay, so now we're just going to let, after I do the second coat on each of these, I'm just going to let this sit for a few minutes and dry. I don't think we're going to need a ton. I don't know. I'm going to do a chalk transfer onto here, which takes pressure and can cause the paint to peel. This is not ideal, which is typical when I'm doing a live stream. Because live streams are surprise live, I either have to be really patient and let things dry properly, which is not normally the route I take, or we kind of rush through it and accept that there's going to be some flaws because of the fact that I didn't let it fully dry, but at least we could do it together in real time. But a best practice would be to let this dry for at least a couple hours so that your paint is super duper dry before you lay a piece of paper over top of it and try to put pressure on it. But c'est la vie. We're going to do the best we can. And it's going to come out pretty. And if this doesn't turn out, like if I try to put the welcome sign and I end up destroying my lemon slice in the process, then we will pivot and we won't put a lemon slice on the wreath. Because I'm not making this again. Not right now, at least. So if I screw this up, we live with it. We either live with the screw up or we just don't include it in the wreath. I have done that more than once. Not on a sign necessarily. Like I said, I don't normally paint my signs right when I'm doing them. But I've definitely spent a lot of time and effort making something, thinking I'm going to use it on my project. And then when the time actually comes to add it, it doesn't work with the project. And I just have to get over it and be like, oh, I'm not going to use this now. What a bummer. But I've definitely done that more than once, especially with bows. Sometimes you make a bow thinking it's going to be like the perfect finish, but it can compete at times depending on what kind of wreath you have. Like, for example, if you're using a ribbon wreath that is all a bunch of beautiful seasonal or thematic ribbons together, things can get lost in there. So you got to be aware. All right. Just thin out these brush strokes. Okay. One more. A little bit more paint. But yeah, so if we were making this sign, if I had a sign that I got from the dollar store, we'd probably be done this wreath already. Because we're not making the base. The base is the grapevine, which stands alone. We're just dressing it, right? So we're going to make a bow. That bow is going to take like 10 minutes to make at most. It's a simple but really pretty, highly versatile bow that we're going to make very shortly, as soon as I'm done this piece of the slice, actually, because we'll let this dry. All right, guys, we did it. We made our lemon slice. That's great. Beautiful. All done. All right. I'm going to set this aside and let it dry a little bit. And then we are going to come back and hit it with the welcome. So I think how we're going to do this is I'm going to actually need to use, I might be able to use chalk on here. You might be able to see it over the yellow. I'd prefer to use chalk than, what's the word I want? Lead from a pencil, but you can totally do that. Especially if you're trying to transfer something onto a white surface, you obviously can't use white chalk paint for that. So pencils really do work in those situations, but not really my preference. All right. I'm going to scoot you out of here. Thank you. Merci. Please don't fall. Okay. Let that dry. I'm going to tidy up a wee bit, and then we're going to go ahead and make our bow. We're going to make our big bundle bow while we let that dry. Okay. Are you ready for the bundle bow? First, let's talk about it. I have a little breakdown over here. So the bundle bow we're going to be making today is a super easy beginner-friendly bow. I highly recommend it if you find bow making a bit intimidating. I can see that my camera's a little bit blurry right now, so my apologies. Hopefully you can see what this says. So we're going to be using 3 complementary wired ribbon. It's really important that the ribbon is wired. You totally can make bows out of ribbon that's not wired, but then you won't have really poofy loops on your bow. They'll be floppy. So it's totally up to you, but my preference is always to have the structure, which is why wired ribbon is an absolute must. For each color, we're going to be cutting 2 pieces at 24 inches in length. And then that means in total, we're going to have 6 pieces, all of which are 24 inches long. Okay. That's right. We're going to go ahead and get started. So these are the 3 ribbon I'm going to be using. I've got this green velvet. This is like a white linen, and this is a lemon themed ribbon, which is like exactly the reason I wanted to do this. When I saw this ribbon, I was like, I'm going to make a lemon wreath. That's like literally what I said. For sure. Because I'm a loser. All right. So what did I say? 6 pieces of total, 6 pieces in total, 2 of each, all of which need to be 24 inches in length. My ruler is 12 inches. So I'm just going to wrap it one time. Like so. And give it a cut. Every time they start a roll, they fold over the end, and I'm always forced to cut it, and it hurts my feelings every time. Because now I wasted an inch of ribbon. Okie dokie. Oh, I don't want you there. Move. Where's my other pair of scissors? I'm not loving those ones. All right, here we go. You definitely need a good pair of scissors if you're working with wired ribbon, because it can be a challenge to get through that ribbon. I'm going to have to cut this off, and it bothers me. See, another wasted inch. This is such a pretty ribbon. Now, you always got to be careful when you're getting these themed ribbons, because sometimes they are smaller, like the rolls are smaller. Now, again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this, I got this ribbon from Michael's because I wasn't able to find a lemon one, and that was the theme I was going for at the dollar store. So keep in mind, though, to always check your dollar store. They generally have really lovely ribbon that's good quality, and seasonally they've really upped their game. So there's like way more options for, like, right now there's like fall stuff, and Halloween stuff is going to start. Well, actually they haven't started all that stuff yet. I went looking the other day and I was pretty bummed that There's only like little sections still. I'm waiting for like all the seasonal stuff to come out. Okay. Last, we've got this velvet green, which I thought went really well. We pulled all the colors out of this lemon ribbon with the white. So vibrant. Yellow is one of those colors that I feel like can sometimes get a bad rep. Like people don't tend to be like, oh my God, my favorite color is yellow. It's not normally, but it really has an effect on you. You know, you really do feel a little bit uplifted. It's a cheery color, you know? All right, we got 2 of each, all of which are 24 inches in length. So what we're going to do now is we are going to start dovetailing the ends of each piece of ribbon. You do not need to do this if you don't want to. If it's not your cup of tea, by all means, don't do it. You can leave them square the way they are now. You could cut them at an angle, whatever you want. But personally, I really like dovetails on the ends of my ribbon. I'm going to try to be strong today and do 2 at a time. I'm not going to do it. I know what's going to happen. I'm going to end up with a not so pretty V because I don't have the hand strength to cut it. So here's how you do a dovetail. You fold your ribbon end to end, just like that. And then you're going to cut at an angle. Okay, let's do that again. We'll take our ribbon. We're going to fold it end to end towards me so that both of the end pieces are facing me. And then we're going to cut at an angle. Now, you can make your angles really deep, like I like to do, these really sharp V's, or you can make them much more shallow. It all depends how you position your scissors. If you go this way, you're getting a deeper V. If you stay this way, it's much more shallow. So play around and find the depth. I don't know if depth's the right word, but angle that you like best. I always enjoy doing a dovetail on my ribbon because I feel like it gives it a really nice, polished, finished, you know what I mean? Like a finishing touch. Because most of the time when I cut things, they're very janky. I'm not the best at cutting straight, just like I'm not the best at painting straight or drawing straight, but we try. We try. So once we're done cutting the ends, I'm going to bust out a pipe cleaner that we can use to tie our ribbon together. You don't have to use a pipe cleaner. You can use floral wire. You can use a zip tie. It's totally your call. But my preference is 99% of the time is pipe cleaners because I find them really easy to work with and adapt very well. If you need to make adjustments, you can add a pipe cleaner onto a pipe cleaner. It's much more challenging to do that with other things. Like I don't even know if you can do that with a zip tie, actually. I don't think so. You can loop through a loop, I guess, but pipe cleaners you can twist onto each other to extend it. That's like a lifesaver. It saved one of my projects more than once, actually. All right, dovetails are complet. So we've got the components of our wreath, or not our wreath, of our bundle bow ready to go, except I need my pipe cleaner. So I'm going to grab a white pipe cleaner. Oh, are you new? Do I have one that's open? Do I have to open something? Are you open? Oh, no, you're not open either. Wow, I have 2 unopened ones. That's great. Note to self, don't buy any more white pipe cleaners. You're good. You're good for now. Oh, these are actually called chenille stems by somebody who thinks they're hoity-toity at the dollar store. Why won't you open properly? So we call these pipe cleaners. We, the children of the 80s, call these the pipe cleaners. All right. You're only going to need one pipe cleaner for this. You might want to get another one to extend it like we were talking about earlier, but not yet. What we're going to do, so we've now cut 6 pieces of ribbon, 2 of each color, and we have cut them to 24 inches in length, and we've dovetailed the ends. Now, this is a super simple bow. All we're going to do is fold every single piece of ribbon completely in half. So we'll start with ribbon number 1. I'm going to fold it completely in half so that we are end to end. And then I'm going to decide where I want my loop to be. How big do I want my loop to be on my bow? Do I want it to be this big? Do I want it to be this big? I think I want it to be pretty small. So I'm going to actually go right here, very low. So I'm going to go around right here. This is where my loop is going to be. How do you make the loop? You scrunch it. We scrunch it, and then you're going to hold on to it. Now you can use like a clothespin if you have one, or you can use your hands like that. But the key is to make sure your ends are equal, and we are going to mix and match. One more thing that we need to discuss is the good side of a ribbon versus the bad side of a ribbon. Right now, you can see both. This is the good side. You can see it's much more vibrant in color. This is the bad side. So always be aware of where your good side is. This white ribbon doesn't have that, but this green one does. So one side is velvet and one side is like satin. So you always want to keep track of which side you want visible. And for this particular wreath, what we're going to do is make sure that the good side is facing down, okay? You want your good side facing your tabletop and your bad side facing up. Why? Because now we're going to fold it right in half, and all you can see is good side now on both sides of this loop. And again, I want my loop to be kind of small, so I'm going to go like around here. And we're just going to grab a little scrunch. Scrunch, 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 scrunch. Little loop. And we'll put them together. Okay? Hold on to that. Now let's go ahead and do our green one next. So an easy fold over. Get up to that center point. Find where you want the loop to be. Give it a little scrunch. And held it. We'll do the white again. So I'm going to keep alternating them, but the truth is you're going to mess around with it once you have your bow tied up with the pipe cleaner, and you can adjust where they go, but it's easier if you start off with mixing them. Okay. Fold you in half. Go about 2 inches over here and give that a scrunch. Okay. And last one. Remember, good side facing down. So now when we fold it, the good side is on all sides and the bad side's on the inside. And we're going to go to, wait, you're not middle. Okay. And we're going to scrunch you right here. Scrunch, 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 scrunch. Okay, so now you can see where I'm holding them. This is the size that we're going to have in the actual loop. These are the tails of your wreath, of your bow. So if you want this bigger, you're going to scoot your hand down and make your loops larger. If you want them small, you keep them up here. It's totally up to you, but this is where you determine the size of the loops of your bow. And lately I've noticed that a lot of my bows, the loops are getting bigger. So I'm going to try to make these small this time and see if I like the look of that bow. So I'm going to take a pipe cleaner and just bend it in the center. And you can either thread it above your hand or below. It's up to you. I'm going to go above. Oh. And we're just going to twist it. If you can try to get to the center of your pipe cleaner, that is in your best interest. It'll make it easier later. And I'm just going to give this a few good twists. Now, believe it or not, we just finished making our bow. It's done. Now it just needs to be fluffed. So we're going to start by spreading out the tails. Wanting to make sure that we have all of the good sides facing up, which we should because we're keeping track of them. Now, in the event that one of your good sides is not facing up and you have a bad side facing up like this, all you have to do is twist it. You want to get as close to your pipe cleaner gather as you can, and you're going to take that one that's in the wrong direction and you're just going to twist it into the right direction, just like that. Very forcefully, like, I told you good side out. So now we're going to just spread these out, but you're going to have that on basically anything that is a double-sided or a good side, bad side ribbon. So that's to be expected. It's not something you did wrong. And it's easy to fix. You just twist. Okay, so you can see we've got some nice long tails. I'll try to spread this out as much as possible, just because I love the way it looks when it's really fanned out. We're going to keep messing with this when you place it on your wreath. So something that I often have to remind myself is when you're in the process of building your bow, like we are right now, this is not the time to be worrying about perfect fluffing, because we will continue to fluff this bow multiple times before we call this finished. In fact, I usually will hang my wreath and still fluff it one more time before I leave it on my door, you know? So you don't have to spend a ton of time doing that right now. Mary. What? I can't hear you. I'm just fluffing. Okay. All right. I think we're in good shape for the tails for right now. So let's focus on fluffing out our loops. Now, to fluff out your loops, all you're going to do is a bit of a rolling motion with your fingers. So you're going to do something like this inside each loop. And we're just trying to open those loops up. And once we have them open, we're going to start moving them around a little bit. And remember, we've got 6 loops in total, 2 of each color ribbon. Now you can totally play with that number. If you wanted to do 7 so that you have 3 of the lemon and 2 green and 2 white, that's great as well. I actually did debate about doing that, but I didn't want the extra tails because there's a lot of tails in this type of bow, and I didn't feel like more tails was going to be a happy addition, you know? Okay, there we go. We have our little bow with the long tails. Screaming lemon. Lemon. Beautiful. Look at that. It's huge. Now, again, I decided to make my loops really small this time. I wanted to have a small bow, but with long tails. But you can totally make yours a little bit bigger, a little bit fuller. And all you're going to do is when you fold your ribbon in half, instead of only giving it a small bit and scrunching, you're going to give it a little bit more and scrunch. That will make your loop bigger. And if you do this, let's say you wanted to make a small bow like this and you sit here going, ugh, I hate it. I want it to be bigger. All you're going to do is untie your pipe cleaner and slide it further down and tie it again and refluff. So it's easy to fix if you're not loving this little bow, but I am. So I'm going to leave it because I really wanted to see what it would look like with a small looped bow. What did I say about wasting time fanning out the tails? I said not to waste my time, right? Right? Okay. Right. All righty. Let's get back to our sign over here. So we've got our 2 main components ready to go. We've got our lemon slice, which is pretty dry. It's these trims. you remember how we were talking about how that you get these lifted edges? Well, they of course are going to take longer to dry. So I might give that a little bit more minute. But let's see. So we've got our grapevine base. Now you'll recall, if you were with me from the beginning, that I reused this base from another project because I didn't want to waste it. And I therefore have some leftover glue from that project. So I'm going to use that in my planning so that it's covered and not visible. And then we're going to go ahead and put our lemon slice right here. Oh my gosh, doesn't that look so cute? Now, once this dries a tiny bit more, we are going to attempt to transfer the word welcome onto our lemon slice so that we can get, that'll look so cool. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do that live. I'm going to try because I think it'll look really cool. Now, we're going to go ahead and tie this on, and then we're going to add some flowers because I do have like these really cute daisies. And are these daisies? These are sunflowers. Are these white ones sunflowers as well? No, these are daisies. Okay, white is daisy and yellow is sunflower, I guess. It's like it's my first time on earth and I don't know flowers at all. Okay, so this also means we need to assess what we're going to do, how we're going to attach this sign, this lemon slice, to our wreath. Now, I don't want to glue it on to the base because I feel like that would be really annoying to take apart after. So what we're going to actually do is, because we've got this big base here, I think I'm just going to glue a pipe cleaner right here, and we'll tie it around the base. Just like that. You might see a tiny bit on the bottom. Actually, we might be able to thread it through the grapevine so you wouldn't even see that, and just secure it using a pipe cleaner. So I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to turn my my glue gun on and let it get ready. And I think we are going to be brave and we are going to try working on our welcome transfer. So try to dry, guy. Try to be extra dry. It's really just the edges, the like elevated edges that are a little bit wet. So we'll see. Okay, I'm going to scoot this out of the way. I just wanted to see where we were at. We'll come back to that. We're still focused on our welcome. So I think we did decide that it's going to be this way and not this way, right? Actually, I didn't even think about that when I had this out. So come back. Originally, my plan was to do it like this, but we could do that. No, I don't like it. I think I like it on the bottom and then welcome. I think that'll look good. All right. You scoot. We're going to work on this. So let's talk a little bit about a chalk transfer and how it works. I do chalk transfers all the time in the craft room because I am not good at freehand drawing. I mean, I can copy things like this, but like figuring out how to draw it on my own, no bueno. I'm not good at it. Did I just break you already? Okay, so we're going to be using a chalk pencil for this because I think there's enough yellow that you'll be able to see it. I'm always conservative about sharpening my chalk pencils because they break a lot. I like to use this General's chalk pencil. They call it pastel chalk in white. Highly recommend. I've got it from Michael's before, and I've also got it from Amazon in the past. So either or. All right, so what we're going to do is take our image, which is this welcome, and we're going to flip it over and make sure that we cover all of it in chalk as if we were coloring it. We want to make sure all of the letters have some chalk on them because we're then going to use something to press down. And we're going to get the welcome to transfer over using that chalk. At least that's the plan. I kept hearing a little song playing. I'm like, am I losing it? My phone alarm was going off for some reason. Oh, I know why I was going off, because I used to do my Saturday live streams at 4 p.m. So this was my 3:30 reminder. Girlfriend, you have a live in a half an hour. But we've moved my schedule around recently to try to help me avoid burning myself out. YouTube channels are a lot of work, friends. Don't let anybody tell you different. And at this point, it is unpaid work because Mary has yet to get monetized. So we just focus on having fun with the projects and hopefully teaching people to make some cool stuff. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all the way around the word so that I can place it better. I find it easier visually for myself to do this. If you are capable of using your spatial reasoning better than I am, I wouldn't be surprised by it because I'm not great at it. So you can totally leave it on the page and don't have to cut it out. But for me, this is how I can really be specific with the placement of things that I'm trying to transfer by cutting them out like that. Is this considered script? Like, would teenagers know what this says? Because my understanding is that they are no longer teaching cursive. So I don't know if anybody but we, the children of the 90s, would know what this says. Okay. I'm thinking right here. Like that. What do you think? Higher, lower, on an angle? I'm thinking right in the center. We're covering both of these lines. I'm going to drop you down just a second. Okay, so this is how Mary measures. 2 fingers on each side. Definitely you can see that it's higher, more real estate on the bottom than the top, but I actually like that. I'm happy with this placement. I'm going to leave that as is. Now, again, the free download for this welcome is in the description, and there's 2 versions. So if you wanted it to be longer, you could have done this one instead if you wanted a bigger welcome across it, but I'm happy with this size, so I'm going to stick with it. Okay, we're going to be brave now, and we're going to hope that between not moving this around and the grace of time and paint drying, that we can do this without damaging our lemon. So what we're going to do is, once you found the perfect spot, we're going to use your non-dominant hand, for me that's my left, to hold it in place. And then you're going to use your dominant hand to use a pen, a pencil, a marker. You can use a dotting tool, anything you want that can trace the outline. I'm using a pen because I find that it helps me know what I've already transferred and what I haven't, because I've definitely made that mistake before. Now, once you've placed your hand and you've held your sign in place, don't move it, because if you make a mistake, it will be nearly impossible to line it up again. Now, I can see that the paint is not fully dry. I'm getting some on my hand when I rest it. Okay. That's okay. We're going to be brave. So we're going to press down, outlining with like a medium pressure. Enough so that you think, yeah, I'm sure that's going to be seen. And we are going to check right after I do this loop. I'm going to lift this up and check if this is actually transferring the way I want it to. I hope so. I've never done this on foam board before. Well, that's interesting. So the chalk isn't transferring, but it's causing, because it's foam board, it's causing the shape to be there. So I'm actually going to just press harder than I normally would, because now I'm not actually going to be doing this as a chalk transfer. It seems to be like a pressure transfer. So I can see the outline in the foam board like as if it's carved in, right? I gotta try to stay as accurate as possible. Okay. Wow, that's really interesting. Okay. So instead of a chalk transfer, this is turned into a pressure transfer. At least that's what I'm calling it. I don't know if there's a word for that. Multi-disco pressure. So again, we're trying not to move. I'm definitely using way more pressure than I would have used. And I'm kind of surprised, like knowing that this is foam board. I actually thought I'd have to go really light, which I guess I would if the chalk was transferring, but since it's not, I'm basically just scoring this word into the foam board. And then we're going to fill it in with black paint. Oh, I'm going to have to be careful because I keep going off the line. So when I paint the black in, I got to be aware that I'm not accidentally going on the wrong line. Okay, let's check again and make sure that we're... Can you see that? I don't think you can, but it's amazing how the fact that, you know, it's foam board and pressure scores it. It's almost like branding it. And we're just going to fill it in with black paint. It's going to be great. So if you're looking to replicate the... Oh, I made a mistake. Calm down. If you're looking to replicate this font, it's a free font with Canva, if I'm not mistaken, and it's called Apricots. This is used in a lot of signage that I've seen around because it's a really, in my opinion, it's a highly legible script that probably even the people who don't know how to read cursive would know to read. And it's still really impactful. It's nice and thick as well. That's something I find happens a lot with script fonts, is that they're really skinny and thin. So when you're trying to do a project with them, it's a frustration. I promise you I can trace a lot better than it seems like I can. It's just because the foam, I'm not even going to give you an excuse. It's just, I'm crazy. Makes me look like I'm drunk, but I'm not. Wow, wow, wow. That is so cool. I wish you could see that. Maybe you can a little bit. Can you? Maybe a little bit. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start painting this in. I'm going to be using black chalk paint for this because I want it to be thick. And I'm hopeful that I can get away with just one coat. I don't want to have to come back and do it a second time, which is why chalk paint is really good for that because it's just a thicker consistency. All right, friends. Let me get my little water cup out here. All right. Are we ready? Cross your fingers for me. We're going to see if we can do this. I have faith in me. I can do it. Go ahead, Mary. I'm going to outline it first. And then we're going to fill it in. Well, I'm happy that it's fairly dry. I see that I'm getting some yellow on my hand. I want to be aware that there is going to be some wet paint. That was one of the things we're going to be aware of as part of the live stream, because I don't have the time to let it fully dry. But again, best practice would be to let this dry for at least a couple hours before doing this part of filling in the word. You'll notice I'm extra quiet right now, because if I make a mistake with the black, it will be incredibly hard to correct. So we're going to try to be as precise as possible. I'm finding it a bit challenging to get the paintbrush to glide because of the grooves of what we carved into it. Now, if you have a paint pen, I would highly recommend using that for this if you're good at using them. I'm personally not very good at using them. I find that they always splatter when I use them, which is, I would say, a user error on my part. It's just something I need to practice and get better at using them so that they don't splatter. But it would be really easy to use one for this if you're good at it. Okay. Yeah, you see, because it's almost engraved in the foam, it stops my paintbrush from going over it. It's like a little wall. Oh shoot, that was not intended. Let's see if I can fix that. I might need to clean my paintbrush. Maybe that's why I'm struggling a bit. Yeah, these edges are going to be hard to keep clean with this styrofoam. That's interesting. So positives and negatives with working with the foam board. The positive is that you can see the engraved shape. The negative is that the engraved shape gets in the way. Like there's like a little divot here. I am not going to be able to smooth this out. Aw. I wonder if there's a way for me to make that smoother, but it's really just the edge of the groove. But it doesn't need to be that perfect. I'm just weird. This is going to be on a wreath on a door. No one's going to stare at it as closely as I'm staring at it right now. It bugs me. I wanted to smooth it out. All right, that's not so bad. It's better than it was. I think that's as good as it's going to get. Okay. Let's keep going. Oh, I just stuck my finger right in there. Well, I often get paint on my hands when I'm working with paint. It's something that I try to be very conscious of. Because sometimes a little bit of transferred paint can ruin a project. So you want to be very conscious of it. Okay, there we go. Okay. We got. All right, let's get started with this L. Trying to be really careful with the end of my stroke, because that's where things can get really messy. And then add to that this engraving on the foam causes the paint to move in a way it wouldn't necessarily. Okay. Guys, are you loving my little lemon sign? I'm loving this. How cute. All right, let's get that C happening. We're almost 2 hours into this. I would say we probably have another good hour to go. By the time I finish painting this welcome, that'll be easily another half an hour because this is taking quite a lot of patience and precision. Which means you need to have a lot of time. Keep this close by. Anytime you're working on something that you're using as a transfer, highly recommend you keep it front and center. Because sometimes it's easy to lose the plot, you know? You're looking so detailed at it that you might lose sight of something really important. All right, let's get this curve. Okay. Welk. I'm going to try to just get the outline of the center done. Okay, so this, keep an eye on that because this is a bit of a, it's not a perfectly round O. I'm going to keep track of. Oh, shiza. Oh boy, I got a whole bunch of black paint on my fingers right now. I just realized I'm wiping off the black and I'm putting yellow in its place. So time to flip my. You were on there for a while, hey? All right, everybody happy now? Thank you, appreciate. Let's clean this a little bit too while we're at it. And this really filthy paint cup of water. Okay. So something I'm doing, especially in spots where I'm trying to be really precise, is I take a deep breath and then I exhale as I try to paint. I find that that helps steady my hand a little bit, that exhalation of just like a, it really helps kind of steady out your hand a bit. So give that a shot, see if it helps you. This is a bad little spot. The transfer, I think I must have missed my outline, and so it's a little extra hard here. There, I think I did it. Now we got it. Beautiful. All right, so we're going to do the M next. It has a really small connecting line between the O and the M. That's it. All right. Oh, I just had a spaz. Okay, I'm going to have to fix that. I had the big spaz. There we go. Wonderbar. We are in the home stretch. That's not true at all. There's still one more full letter to go, and this is the longest letter. So I can see the finish line, but I wouldn't say we're in the home stretch just yet. I don't love the way this line turned out, the connecting line between the O and the M. So I'm going to go back and fix it in a minute. It's supposed to be thin, but I don't love that it's there. That did it. I wanted that curve. I feel like that makes a little bit of an impact. An impact-a-rooney. That water is very dirty. That's okay. I just needed to clean off my paintbrush every once in a while. It helps to make the tip more precise when I'm trying to get into something that's a little uncomfortable like this. Oh, I had a little spaz. Beautiful. Who's a pretty lemon slice? You see that little, I don't know if you can see that it's a little jaggedy what I just did. That is fully because of the scoring that we did with transferring it over. That one in particular, like I felt it, my paintbrush jumping on like the texture of it. It's like driving on the highway when they scrape it down to repave, which is the feeling of summer in Ontario. We did it. We're on the last letter. All right. There we go. That smoothed it out really well. Okay, so let's get that corner or that loop of the E, because that's the place where we need to be the most precise for this part. Oh, I made messy. Okay. So that's right here. Beautiful. That worked out really well. We're going to try to get that full part done. Yeah, those jaggedy raised edges are a real challenge. An unexpected challenge. Starting to lose a little bit of control in my hands. We've been doing a lot of precise stuff, which can be a real challenge. Okay, careful about you. There we go. Now we're just going to be patient and fill in slowly because it's really easy for everything to go off the rails right here when you're done. So we're going to take it easy. A little bit of patience. This little loop is getting on my nervos, on my nervaroos. Okay, so I'm going to stop messing with it. Done. Done like the dinner. We did it. Woohoo! Doesn't that look so cute? Oh my God, I'm super pleased. I am super duper pleased. Now, could it be smoother? Sure. Could it be more precise? Of course it could. Do I care? No, not even a little. I'm thrilled with the way that turned out. Okay, I'm going to set this aside and let it dry for a few seconds or minutes, and then we're going to glue a pipe cleaner to the back of this so we can attach it to our wreath, because we are officially in the home stretch now, because all that's left is we're going to start gluing on, like I said, a pipe cleaner to the back of this shortly. We'll let this dry for a bit. And we're going to start gluing on our flowers and tying on our bow, and it's going to be awesome. Let's just tidy up a wee bit. Always remember to tidy as you go. It'll make your life infinitely easier. I feel like I say that a lot. It's something that I do a lot of when I'm making candles. I try to make sure to stay on top of it or the mess gets out of control. Okay, so we've got our wreath and our bow. We're going to put this over here once we have the pipe cleaner glued to the back. So what we're going to do is decide where to, I think I'm going to put the bow exactly there. Or do I want to go a little higher? Hold on. I got to be careful because I don't want to mess up my welcome. I want it to be like top left corner. Right? Okay, and then we're going to do some flowers around it as well. I might end up cutting down these tails a little bit. I wanted them really long, but I'm not sure if I'm going to want all of them long, or maybe I'll change my mind once we start. Okay, so to attach your bow to the wreath, what we're going to do is take the pipe cleaner that we used to bind it together. I'm just going to pull it down this way. I'll move this one to the other side of the bundle and pull it down as well, just so they're on either side of all of these tails. So I'm going to try to make sure I've got 2 white, 2 green, and 2 yellow on this side, and the same on this side. So when we stretch out our, okay, I want to keep track of that because I want to cover it. I also have another piece of glue right here. Oh, well, I broke it off. So I'm going to literally tie this over top of the thing I want to hide. Let's flip this over. Ooh, I literally lost control of it. This is the perfect size pipe cleaner, but if it was too small, as I mentioned earlier, you can just twist some pipe cleaners onto the end of it. Okay. Now let's do our spread them out, because I might end up deciding to trim these down a little bit. I'd rather make them too long and fix them and cut them down to the size I want than make them too short and not be able to do that, because it can be really annoying. Let's get this here. So we can do yellow, green, white. Can we get that yellow over here? Yeah. Okay. That's good. And now we're going to try to do the same. In this case, let's get the white and then yellow. So green, white, yellow. And we've got the green right there. So let's go yellow. Like that. No, you're turned the wrong way. Turn the right way. Okay. So now we got to decide if we want these ribbon tails to be this long, or do we want to cut them down? Now, the only reason you would need to do that is because I chose to make these loops small. I wanted this bow to have a small actual poof. I wanted the tails to be longer. This was my intention. This was my plan. Now, if this is not your cup of tea, you can, like I mentioned earlier, you can slide the pipe cleaner lower and make these loops bigger. But I'm very happy with the size of them. I might trim some of these down a little bit. Let's try it. Let's see what we think with trimming down a couple. So let's trim down you. We'll do a few. So same as we did before, we're just putting them end to end and cutting at a diagonal. Yeah, I think that's a better size, right? Yeah, I think so. So basically we're going to cut a couple of inches off of each one. And then we'll see what we think of that. So I'm going to make a note of this for myself. The next time I make a grapevine wreath, if I want to use this bow, because there's, you know, lots of bows you can make. Doesn't have to be this one. That if I want small bow loops, then we need to cut smaller amount of ribbon for our bow. Instead of 24 inches, maybe I would do something like 18 inches. This green one feels so long. This one too, so long. Why? Oh. Now this one, and then these two white, and I think we're done trimming. And I feel like we might be able to, I don't know, I got to see if that welcome is dry. Because the problem is we have to turn it upside down in order to glue. Well, I could put it on some parchment paper. That way, even if it isn't fully dry, it won't necessarily ruin it. All right, let's see what we think of that. Yeah, that's better. Those were too long. Now, I debated about putting some black in this bow, and that would have been nice as well. But I chose to pull the green instead as the contrast color, because it's always nice to have a little bit of contrast, especially when you have really bright colors like these lemons. That looks great. Beautiful. All right, let's get all these extra tails out of here. Oh, I dropped a whole bunch on the floor. That's great. More to clean up later, Mary. Way to go. Way to go. All right. How you doing? It is very close to being dry. I don't know that me doing any of this is going to matter, but we're going to try. You know, I could probably prop it up so that it's not touching. You know what? Maybe I will do that. How am I going to do that? What am I going to prop you up on? Let's look around. I could probably put it on a paint bottle. hope this is properly working, but that I'm not touching it, I can't tell. All right, I can live with it. Let's get another pipe cleaner. So for this, because we are going to tie this on to the bottom of our wreath, I'm actually going to glue this down vertically, and I'm going to do it, let's see, probably around here, like lower on the slice as opposed to higher. Maybe right in the middle. Okay, let's find the middle of our thing. It's about here. I think we're going to go this way. Now you can see hot glue is melting through this foam board. That's the reason why I chose not to what was I saying? I need a toothpick. That's why I chose not to glue the two pieces of foam board together using hot glue, because I knew it would eat away at the hot glue, at the foam board a little bit, and I didn't want to have that problem with them adhering to each other. That's why we use paste and masking tape. Now you can see I'm pushing my pipe cleaner down into this pile of glue using a toothpick. I highly recommend you do the same. Have respect for hot glue, because it will have no respect for you. It will come for your skin, and you'll live with a burn for a while. Like, hot glue burns are painful AF. So I try to avoid them as much as possible. Oh, I think we're still okay. Okay, I'm going to leave this to sit for a second. Now, it won't take long for this hot glue to solidify. Normally what I do is once it starts to solidify, I come back and hit it again with some more hot glue, just to kind of really encase it in that glue and make sure it won't separate. I'm not sure if a foam board will need that an extra bit of glue, but we'll probably try it. I might even try it right now. It looks fairly dry as it is. You know what? Let's do it. Just going to put a little bit more over top like that. Beautiful. Now we're going to let this dry. I'm going to kind of just set it off to the side over here. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. And then we're going to scoot this over. Okay, I'm going to let that dry over there. And now what we're going to start doing is planning out what we're going to do with our flowers. So I have a bag of random flowers from different projects that I've done that I didn't need a couple extra. So I'm thinking, oh, I have a lot of these ones. I didn't realize how many I had. Oh, that's great. There's some little white ones too. Beauty. I don't even have to take apart the stem that I had, that I showed earlier. We've got some greenery. Oh boy, there's a lot of these, hey? Okay, we're not using all of this, but it's nice to see what we have available. All right. Let's see. I'm thinking that we're going to do something like 2 or 3 of these big ones kind of tucked around the wreath like that. And then we'll do some smaller ones as well. Okay. Now let's remember we have our lemon slice here. And then we could do just to like break it up a little bit. We could do a little daisy. And we're gonna maybe tuck some leaves under. And then those will go on top and stick out a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. I like it. And these little stems are easier. Hold on, you come out. So if we were to, I'm probably going to glue it directly onto the ribbon. And then these ones I'll tuck with a tiny bit of glue and put them in. And we'll do the same with the leaves. We'll just kind of tuck them under some of these little branches. I might even put a couple over here, over top. I have more of these daisies. I'm gonna have to bust them out. Debating if I want this to be even smaller. You know what? I have to remember that this is the other reason why we used wired ribbon, is because you can curl it down and away and adjust it how you want. Yeah, I think a couple of these daisies would do well. Okay, I like that. We're gonna have to give this a few more minutes to dry, but we're in good shape. Got to be careful I don't touch that welcome. Let me dry it. Let's give it a little wave dry while I drink a little sip of water. By the way, not easy to do. Waving this and drinking water. I can easily see this water spilling all over the place. All right. What we're going to do is bend the pipe cleaners around the glue. Now, normally I would let this dry a little longer, but we are already almost 2.5 hours into this, and I want to glue these flowers down for the most part. I might tuck some, but I'm probably going to glue. So we're going to see how this looks. So what we're going to do is basically these little pipe cleaners are going to go over the bottom of this, and we're going to tie them at the back. That's pretty much it. Just like that. Okay, and I might tuck this pipe cleaner in between here instead of it going around, just so that you can't see it. So I think I'm going to do that. Let's see if I can thread it through. Oh, that was beyond easy. Okay, I'm going to give this a quick twist in the back because, again, the glue's not really dry. We're just doing this to kind of keep going. All right, so this can go up a little because I want to see a little bit of the wreath poking out at the bottom. So we'll scoot you a little like that. Okay, that's good. Oh. Okay. Let's go ahead and start tucking in all of the flowers. I'm going to move everybody off to the side a little bit. And we're going to start gluing. Okay. First, let's make sure we're happy with the 2 big pieces, and then everything else gets built around it. Okay. When the glue dries better on the back of this sign, I am going to turn this whole thing upside down and tie it really tight, the pipe cleaner. But for right now, we're going to let it be loosey-goosey until it fully dries, and then I'll fix it. I don't like this piece of stick that's just hanging out over here. Can I tuck you? Oh, that wasn't so bad. You too. All right. Okay, so we are going to, now using the edge of the wire, we're going to go ahead and like curve and bend and like adjust like that. Well, actually, I'm not loving that. Let's curve it down and away. All right. We'll open up our loops a little bit more. Okay. I think the bow is in good shape. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. That looks great. Nice big statement bow with all the lemon. I don't like you curved up, curved down. Yeah, that's better. We'll curve them all down. Oh yeah, I like that better. Let me do that real quick. I'm just tucking the tail under a little bit. Gives it a little bit more. Okay. I'm going to try to stop messing with my bow because that's something that I can do for hours. So we're going to leave it. And we are going to start gluing in some of these flowers, okay? Which one do I want sticking out? This one or that one? Do I want the lemon over it or do I want the white one over it? I think a little bit of both. Let's get that green up here too. This one still seems a little too long for my taste. And you too, you're a little long. That's great. All right, let's get our daisies in and our sunflowers in. I think we're going to start with the sunflower, the big sunflowers. We'll do one on either side of the bow, like this. I think I might glue it right onto that piece of ribbon. No, I like it there. Okay, so a little bit of glue on the back. And we're going to put it exactly where we want it. And we'll hold it in place for a few seconds. Now, anytime you're working with hot glue, you always need to give it, 60 seconds, 30 seconds, half a minute, whatever, to kind of like adhere. But it's, when you're using something like this that has all these branches and it's not a level piece that you're going to be gluing down, there's going to be a lot more opportunity for it to struggle and not adhere properly. Cutting these down too. Wow, you know what? I feel like I really need to make note of this because I'm finding that this ribbon's just too long. And I think I did 24 inches. Even if I'd made my loops bigger on the ribbon or on the bow, I still feel like this was too long. Okay. Are you good? I think you're good. So we'll do one down here. So the welcome. Okay, maybe over here. Let's see. Welcome's going to stay in the middle. We'll have our ribbon overflowing a little bit just to kind of like cover that edge. Do I want it down here? I think I do. Because if I scoot this over, it's still going to look really good right there. So on the edge is where I'm going to put it. Yeah, because that's going to stay there. Oh my God, I'm going to be so happy when I tie this thing down because it's annoying me. Being able to move it around like this, when I can adjust it and hold it down, I'm going to be much happier. I think I might do a couple of little daisies over here. Maybe 3? Let's see. What would it look like if we did a little trio like that? I think that's look really cute. Yeah, we're going to put those right there, exactly where they are. So you first. Oh, watch. I almost got some on me. I almost got some on me. I don't want them to be perfectly. Yeah, that's cute. Okay, you next. A little bit of glue. Ah! It got me. Ooh, that got me good. I hope I don't get a burn from that. Ugh. Me and hot glue, we have such a love-hate. I love it, but it hates me. Okay, one more. Apparently, I got to be conservative because this thing has an attitude problem. That's good. Little trio right there. Okay, so let's do a couple of these yellow. Actually, maybe I'll do some more of these little white daisies. Oh yeah, you're the annoying ones that won't come off. I have to cut them. Let's do a couple more. Okay. So I think daisies first so that we can see where. Okay, one there is good. So let's start with you. I think I'll do a little one here. Underneath. Do I want anything tucked in here? No, because this should go there. Okay, that's good. I keep trying to put it there. Because I want a little one somewhere. I just don't know where. I don't want to move this. Maybe on the edge. No. You know, maybe we could tuck it into the bow. That would look cute. Yeah, let's do that. We'll tuck it into the bow. I'm just going to leave this little daisy down here, and we'll leave that sunflower open. Open and spread like that. Okay, so let's glue this little one into the bow. Oh, that's so cute. We'll do up here. I can do a little. a little one. And then we could do a daisy. What if we switch them? A little one and then a daisy over here. Or maybe no daisy. I don't I don't want to fill in this whole area, so maybe we won't put anything up there and we'll just leave the sunflower and we can tuck something into, oh yeah, see, that looks cute. All right. And maybe up here. Let's see, how does that look from here? I don't think we need this one in here. The little daisy looks cute. We can leave the daisy there. We'll glue that in right onto the ribbon. So normally I would probably cut this stem down a little bit more. But again, with all of these vines and stuff, if you can poke through, it's useful. Do we want to tuck some leaves in? I think we're done with like flowers, unless we want to put a daisy up there. I'm actually going to tuck it into the pipe cleaner that's over here. Cute. Now we can add some leaves and greenery in here as well. I'm actually going to probably just tuck them because you can't even see. I mean, you don't really, usually I would say greenery would look really cool on something like this, but because we have the green ribbon, it kind of almost is unnecessary. No, but I like that. Let's see, where else can we tuck one? Let's see, how does that look? Let this go here and there. Open that. Oh, you fell. I'll tuck you in again. I don't think I need this here. Maybe this little one. Can't even see it. No. I think we're going to just tuck this one under the sunflower a little bit. I think that'll look good. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. That little bit of green, just like the little bit of green right here. I think, do I want to add anything else? I keep wanting to put another little sunflower in, but it feels like a little bit of overkill, doesn't it? I actually kind of like it. I need one that has a good center. Or should I put a big one? No, that looks like too much. No. I can't decide if I like this or not. What do you think? Yay or nay? I think I have to put it in because I keep coming back to it. So obviously something about it is speaking to me, right? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put, oh, that's good. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down and this little piece of greenery up here as well. And then we're going to be done. Like, we're done. There's only one more thing. If you want to hang this, there's a couple of ways you can do it. Obviously, you're going to want to hang it. It's a wreath. If you have one of those hooks that goes over your door, and then there's like a little hook on the bottom, you can just hook that right here. Okay, that's the easiest way to do it with this type of wreath. However, I highly also recommend a little bit of jute cord. You can thread it through the back and turn it into a little loop, and then tie that to the hook that we were talking about. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want to flatten out my bow again. So we're just going to glue down these last couple of pieces of greenery and sunflowers, and we're going to call her a day. Now I'm going to let my wreath sign dry really well before I give it a good tie onto here. So we're just going to leave it propped for now. Ooh, 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 ooh. Get in there before you start dripping. Okay. All right. We're going to give that a couple seconds to adhere. All right. Are you ready for the final reveal of our lemon themed welcome wreath for the front door with a sign that was made from scratch by us, start to finish? Cut the foam board, traced it, painted it. Bro, this is highly, highly customized. Are you ready for the final reveal? Beep, 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 beep. Ta-da! What do you think? It came out great, didn't it? Oh man, I'm so pumped. This came out exactly how I had it planned in my head. I'm really pleased with the way this turned out. It took quite a long time to get our sign ready to go, which is why we are almost at 2 hours and 45 minutes for this tutorial today. So if you hung in with me, thanks for hanging out. We definitely put in a marathon sprint to get this done, but I'm super thrilled with the way it turned out. And I hope you enjoyed making this wreath with me. I haven't done a grapevine wreath in a long time, so I'm glad that I had the opportunity to do that for this summer series. I'm going to be back again next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're going to make another summer-themed wreath. I'm really excited about it. It's actually going to be a sunflower pizza pan clothespin wreath. It's going to be a blast, so make sure you join me next Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about wreath making, check out my channel. I have a ton of beginner-friendly types of tutorials, tons in this kind of format where we did it live together step by step, and then the replay is available for you. And I also have a bunch, if you're short on time and don't have 2.5 hours to invest in a tutorial, then you can see and a few ideas that are 5, 10, 15 minutes long. Again, all beginner friendly, all seasonal as well. So if you're looking for fall, we've got some fall. You're looking for some Halloween, Halloween's here. Valentine's Day, I'm your girl. So trust me, if you're looking for it, I've probably got a tutorial about it by this point, and it's completely beginner friendly. And the vast majority of the things that I use to make my wreaths, I get from the dollar store or my local craft store, which for me is Michael's Canada, but I know there's Joann's in the US. And I mean, there's craft stores all around the world. We crafters are global, my friends. I hope you had a good time making this wreath with me. I had a blast. And if you did, please hit that like button. It really does help me out. Consider telling a friend who might have a good time making a wreath. We really enjoy ourselves here at the IHC Craft Room, so the more the merrier. And don't forget to subscribe so that we can continue to get crafty together. Toodaloo.